Hello and welcome to Nature Days Outdoor Learning Resources, sponsored by the Gower Society. Now the weekend has come and it is time to do the RSPB Big Garden Bird Watch. Now the sun is shining here in South Wales at the moment, so I thought I'd take this time to do my bird watch. So I'm going to give you a bit of guidance now on how to do it. You've got 3 days to do it. You've got today, Friday, and you've got the weekend. And all you need to do is to take an hour. And for that hour, you're going to see what birds are in your garden. Now, it might be really tempting to see how many you can get and see if you can get the most. But it's not about getting the most birds. It's about getting accurate science results. So when you're doing a scientific investigation, you need to make sure that your results are valid. And valid means that they're actually true. You haven't made them up. So don't think, oh, that one was flying past, so I put him down. You need to make sure you follow the rules. And what we are doing is taking part in something called citizen science. And this has been taking place for over 40 years. So millions of people have been doing this and sticking to the same rules. And it means that the RSPB have got this fantastic resource of all of this information, and they know that it's true because people stick to the rules. So this is what you have to do. Hopefully you've set up your bird feeders a few days before so the birds can get used to your garden. Now, if you like, you can sit inside and look out your window. And that might be the best way to see your birds because it doesn't matter what the weather is. And also your presence is not going to interfere with them. You need to make sure that you've taken this from the website, from the RSPB website, and you printed it off. This is the bird watching ID guide. And it means that it doesn't matter if you know your birds or you don't. You just look at this and you compare it to what you see landing on your garden, and then you can tick off. Really importantly, you're not going to start to do a tally. So sometimes at school when you're doing counting, you might be watching something or looking at mini bees, you tally off. So every time you see one, you put a mark in. That's not what we're going to do. What you're going to do is you're going to watch for your hour and see what is the maximum number of birds of the same kind that you see on the floor. So it's only the ones that land, not the ones that fly above you. So if they land on the ground and you see 3 of them, then that's 3. If by the end of the hour you've seen another 3 or 2 more and they landed on the ground at a different time, that's still 3. So it's the highest amount of birds you saw on the floor at the same time. Now, what's really important also is to make sure that you write down if you don't see them. So if you do your hour and you see no birds at all, that's still really important information. So you need to send that off to the RSPB as well. So don't think that you've failed or you've done something wrong. You are also providing really important information. Because what this information is used for is to find out about the birds in our gardens in the UK. And if everybody sent in that they found hundreds of birds, then we'd say, oh, great, the birds are doing really well. We don't have to do anything. We don't have to change anything. The birds are doing brilliantly. However, your bit of information that's sent in that said, there aren't any birds in my garden, the RSPB will go, we've got a problem in this area. What can we do to make that better? So they might decide that they're going to ask people to put up more bird boxes or put out more tables for food. Or they may change the habitat so they can encourage more birds to be nesting there or to be feeding. So it's really important to get all of that information. So don't be discouraged if you don't see anything. You can also try again at another day. It might be that it's taken a little while for your birds to get used to your bird feeder. It might be that the weather's just not good at that time of the day. So trying at different times of the day, if you do want to see something, just keep at it. So just take that hour, sit in your window with your ID guide and wait until you see some. Tally how many you've seen on that moment. And if you see any more, so if you see suddenly 5 on the ground instead of 3, then you can put 5 down instead of 3. And once you've filled in this form, you then need to put it into the RSPB website. You can see there's a form there. I'll put the link down in the comments, and you just fill in what you saw. You send it off. You can do it by email or you can send it by post if you want to. But just doing this for the hour, although it's really good citizen science, it's an opportunity to do lots of other educational and enjoyable activities as well. Not only if you look at those birds and tally on your sheet, just try and really look at them. Look at their behaviour. try to think of what they're doing, why they're doing it. If they're on your bird feeder, obviously they're there for food. Or are they? Have a look at them. How are they holding on to that branch? How are they feeding? If you get really close, or if you've got binoculars, you can try and see the way in which they actually take those seeds out of that bird feeder and then put it into their crop. So they don't actually swallow them, they store it in their neck. And if you've got one that's gorging, you might see their crop start to actually get bigger. And that's them storing up all that food until they go and eat it somewhere else. They won't sit and eat on your table unless they're really comfortable. And that'll be amazing to watch. And also think of the way they're interacting with other birds on the bird table. Are they being really kind and thoughtful and sharing nicely? Or are they being a bit territorial and saying, "Oi, this is my food. You can get lost. I'm going to eat this." So what are they eating? Have they got a preference like you? Do you like one food more than another? Are they all going for the corn, which is the round yellowy ones? Or do they like the sunflower seeds? Or the Niger seeds, the black ones? So have a look and see if you can see if there's any preference for which birds like which foods. And then again, if you check on the RSPB website, they tell you what birds like which seeds, and you can see if it is the case in your garden. Also, if you want to try and do a bit of wildlife photography, that's really tricky, but if you're staying still inside and you've got a tripod, you can set up your camera in the window while you're watching, have it zoomed in on the bird feeder, and then when a bird comes, try and take some photos and then have a really good look at them, because wildlife photography is a really useful resource to find out how birds are identified. So you can have a really good close-up look at markings, at colours, also things like their feathers, how they are laid down. And you can also sometimes see what sex the birds are, whether they're male or female, by what colourings they've got. So if you can get some really good photos of those birds, you can start to really get to know them. So take this opportunity of sitting quietly and watching those birds to try and take in the whole scene. How is that whole ecosystem of your bird table actually working together? And it's like a soap opera. It's you watching them like a reality TV show of birds. So see what you can see and see if you can come up with some stories to try and explain the behaviours between the different birds. So don't forget, really importantly, this weekend, do your hour, fill it in, and then send it off to the RSPB for the Big Garden Bird Watch so we can get as much data as we can, and so that RSPB can do a fantastic job of protecting our wild birds. If you did take part, please make sure that you do share it on Twitter, so you can hashtag Nature Days, but you also put on the Big Garden Bird Watch, RSPB, as well. And I'd love to see any photos that you come up with or any stories from your reality TV show that is your garden on the Facebook page or on Twitter. So have a good weekend and good bird watching.